about the myocardium. The myocardium is basically the heart tissue or the heart cells. Now, what is actually the function of myocardium or the heart cells as there? We can classify the heart cells into three categories. So, the first category is called as your general myocardium. So, in the general myocardium, we have atrial cells or else the ventricular cells. The functions of both is contraction and relaxation. When we come to second category of myocardial cells, we can say that they are specialized myocardial cells. They are the specialized cells. Now, specialized cells basically means that we are having different types of cells responsible for passing electrical impulses. Passing electrical impulses. So, broadly saying that electrical impulses, we can say that we have different specialized cells. One is called as your AV cells or AV node and SN node. Okay, you can call it as your SA. So these, apart from that, we have Purkinje fibers, we have bundle of His, which are all responsible for contraction and relaxation by carrying out the electrical impulses into the heart. There is one more category of myocardial cells which are responsible, I'll write it here, which are responsible for endocrine system or which is a part of endocrine, CRINE, endocrine system, hormonal systems. So one such example is called as your ANP or ANF. So what is the full form of ANP or ANF is, ANP stands for or ANF stands for atrial natriuretic factor or peptide, because these are proteins. So as I have already mentioned about the full form of ANF or ANP, which is atrial natriuretic peptide or factor. So first of all, we should know this hormone or this protein, where it is released. It is basically released where? Into the walls of the atrium. It is released where? From the walls of the atrium or atrium. So first of all, it is released from atrial walls of the heart. The peculiar thing about ANF factor is that it also has direct effect on the kidneys. It is having a direct effect on the kidneys also. How it happens actually is that, first of all, I'll just give you an example. Example is that when a person is undergoing intravenous fluids, it means what? Suppose this is my radial arm and there is a vein wherever it is, and lot of IVF intravenous fluid is going into my body. So when the body is getting too much of fluids, what is going to happen? Ultimately, through veins. The fluid is traveling through veins of the body and enters where? Into the atrial part of the heart or atrium. That is this part. So when the IV fluids are reaching through veins, vena cava, whatever you speak, we can say that superior, inferior, then it is going to collect lot of fluids. Fluid quantity will be very high. Now what is going to happen when the fluid quantity is becoming high, this part, then what is going to happen? The atrial space, it will expand. Flow is more. Entering of the fluid is very, very high, very rapid, the rate. So what is going to happen? The atrial wall will get distended. It means what? Expanded. Now what is going to happen once when the atrial wall or the chambers are expanded? Now, such that this ANF factor is also working, as I told you, on the kidneys. It is also working on the kidneys. So let me tell you, we know that the functional and the basic unit of kidney is nothing but your nephron. Now we know that in nephron, okay, we are having one inlet and one outlet. Afferent arteriole, efferent arteriole. The beauty is the ANF factor will be acting on the efferent arteriole. Very, very important. It acts on the efferent arteriole. It means what? The ANF will constrict the efferent arteriole. It will reduce the space or constrict the capillaries, which is taking out the blood along with filtrate to the peritubular capillaries. So what is going to happen? More fluid is coming here. More fluid is coming here. Arteries, okay, aorta is connected here. Afferent arterioles collecting too much of fluids. So what is going to happen now? But the fluid is collected here, glomerular capillaries, but it is not going out easily because of this constricted space. So what is going to happen? More amount of filtrate is produced into the nephron. More amount of plasma, that is filtrate, it is being collected into this glomerular space. So when this happens, what is going to happen directly? The glomerular filtration rate, it also increases. When the GFR, glomerular filtration rate. So let me write. Glomerular filtration. So when this rate increases, what is going to happen? More amount of urine is passed out. More amount of urine is passed out. So what is the first function? So I will make a box here and I will just mention the first function of your ANF or ANP. The first function is what? It increases the rate of filtration by increasing GFR. Second function. The second function is that this is the medulla. This entire space is the medullary space of the kidney. In this medullary space of the kidney, what is going to happen? This part of nephron, which is the functional unit of kidney. Now, there is something called as sodium ion reabsorption. So, second function is that this ANF factor, what it will do? It will reduce the sodium ion reabsorption. Second function reduces Na plus ion reabsorption into the blood. So when reabsorption of sodium ion is less, what is going to happen? Along with the urine or filtrate, around more urine is there, first point. Second, in the urine, what is going to happen? More sodium is expelled. More sodium ions are also expelled. It means what? Along with the urine, first is increases the rate of filtration and urine also is increased. Second function is it decreases the sodium. Sodium ion reabsorption is cut. So what is going to happen? Into the blood it is not happening. It is not getting back into the blood. It is not retained. It has to come. So the second function is it increases the output of urine along with sodium ions. So therefore we can say that ANF factor works on the kidney by performing two important functions. One is increasing the urine output and second one is along with the urine, sodium ions are also, you can say that not sodium but excess of sodium ions are expelled out of the kidneys or out of the body. Now let's understand what is the third function. So let's go for understanding the third function. Now the third function is that, so as we have already we already know in we can say that we have studied in class 11th or UC1, there is something called as regulating pathway of kidney, regulating pathway of kidneys, which involves renin. Renin pathway, we can say that. Now, even ANF and renin are also linked together very well. How? Now this ANF factor, what it will do? See, we know that the kidneys secrete renin here. The kidneys will secrete renin here. And we know that. So what actually ANF will do? It will actually reduce the secretion of renin. And we know that renin secretion acts directly on, there is something called as your, before writing the third function, let me explain you. Angiotensinogen. So angiotensinogen is secreted by renin. We know that renin is secreted by where? JG complex, juxtaglomerular complex. So when JG complex is secreting renin, the function of renin is what? To synthesize angiotensinogen. Now what is going to happen? So angiotensinogen is basically synthesized where? In the liver. Now angiotensinogen, what it will do? It will form angiotensin. Angiotensin 1. Now when this angiotensin 1 passes through the lungs, it passes in the circulatory pathway through via lungs. Via lungs, we have an enzyme which is called as angiotensin converting enzyme, ACE. This ACE will convert angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2. And actually what is angiotensin? Angiotensin is one of the vasoconstrictor. Angiotensin is actually a vasoconstrictor. It means what? If the arteries of the vessels are more wider, it will help in narrowing of it. So it is called as your vasoconstrictor. Let me take it out. We know that ANF will stop or decrease the renin production. So when the renin production decreases, angiotensinogen also decreases. When this decreases, ultimately angiotensin 2 will also decrease. It means than becoming constricting the vessels, what is going to happen? It is going to become dilated. So, angiotensin 2 is a vasoconstrictor. But when angiotensin 2 becoming the vasoconstrictor, when the quantity of angiotensin formation becomes less, it becomes a vasodilator. So it means what? The blood vessels will get dilated. It means what? The blood vessels will become relaxed. It will help. So can I say that the ANF factor works on the renin and makes the blood vessel relaxed in case of hypertension people or the people whose blood pressure is very, very high. So can I say that the third function of ANF factor is dilation of blood vessels. How? By renin reduction, decreasing. By decreasing the renin production. So this is the third function. Now if I have to talk about the last function of ANF or ANP, I would like to say that the ANP also works on decreasing the aldosterone. Because we know that renin helps in production of aldosterone. But when renin is less, aldosterone also becomes less. So what will happen? What is the function? First understand. Aldosterone function is sodium ions plus water reabsorption. What is the function of aldosterone? It's again a hormone which is synthesized by renin. It helps in water and sodium ion reabsorption. But when aldosterone is less, what is going to happen inside the kidney? Inside the kidney, there will not be more sodium ion and water reabsorption. When this is the case, what is going to happen? Again, out of the kidneys, more amount of urine with sodium ion plus water is expelled. So this is the fourth function. So the fourth function is what? It decreases the aldosterone production. So the function is it decreases the aldosterone production. Decreases aldosterone. Along with that, there is one more particular hormone which is called as your antidiuretic hormone, ADH. It is also called as a vasopressin. Even ADH hormone secretion also is reduced. What is the function of ADH? ADH function is what? Water reabsorption. These all steps will be coming when we talk about the urine formation. So in the urine formation we have three steps. One is ultrafiltration, second one is reabsorption, third one is tubular secretion. So ADH is one such hormone which is released. If you see, this is the nephron, this is the DCT. Inside the DCT there is ADH. The ADH is going to work on the DCT area, DCT part. Now what is going to happen? Water reabsorption, it helps in the water reabsorption. But when ADH is decreased, the water reabsorption is also decreased. Again, what is going to happen? Urine will be having more water molecules. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that ANF factor. In short, I'm going to say that the ANF factor is very, very important. It plays very, very important and crucial role in balancing the fluid concentration in the body. The fluid concentration in the body. Too much of fluid, too much of salt, the anti-atrial natriuretic factor will come and expel those extra salt. So therefore, it also helps in reducing the blood pressure, hypertension, at the same time passing out more unwanted sodium and water molecules out of the brain. So this is what is all about the 5 important functions of our ANF or our ANF.